Hey guys, let me pull this Alice in Chains down here for a second. Hey everybody, how are you? Happy Wednesday again to all of you, and those of you who's joining on the live stream right now. It is Wednesday for us, Wednesday 8 p.m. Eastern time, where I live in Western North Carolina in the United States of America. And we're here for Alice in Chains. And didn't have many get in on this one as far as the panel goes. We had 12 on the panel. But, like I've always said, the people that want to be in the panel are going to be in the panel. And I know some people that aren't in the panel, they still watch the video, the results video, and come hang out with us live. So if you're hanging out with us live right now, get your drink ready. I've got mine here. I've got it in a cooler tonight, and it's non-alcoholic. And it's actually just a Pepsi Max, Pepsi Zero or something like that. But cheers to everybody who's watching live. And if you're watching on the replay, thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the like, yada, yada button. You know all that stuff. All that same type of disclaimer type stuff. So let's see who we got here in the chat tonight. We have, if you're in the chat, if you're watching and you're in the chat right now live, be sure to pop in there and say who you are and say hi, and I'll say hi back, and let's discuss Alice in Chains and whatever else comes up for the next hour or so, however long it takes us to do this. It's 13 tracks, so I might move along at a little bit more of a pace tonight. So we have Sublime 130. Good to see you, man. Faithful here almost every time. Cecil Music, another one. They're faithful almost every time. John Rish 777. Hey man, good to see you. My boy Scotty Sky. I was talking to him earlier. He was running the song idea past me and playing some riff and playing some lyrics, and it sounds pretty good, Scott. And I'm going to try to, listen to what you're playing and see if I can come up with some lyrical content for you. And guys, y'all need to know the drum set is coming. I'm telling you, some people's like, when you getting your drum set? When you getting your drum set? I bought a pool because we had a pool up for 3 years in our backyard. One of those, it's nicer than ones you buy at Walmart, but it's not a permanent pool. But it's nice. We buy it offline, and it's a 24-foot pool. This year we got a 22-foot pool. We're going to probably keep it for 2 or 3 years maybe. But I bought it, and it's like $700. And so I financed it with the same company that I'm going to finance my drums through. And I was originally going to buy a drum set that was like $400. Then I started looking at some really nicer ones. They've got one that's got a snare that kind of floats in the middle on its own stand. You can move it around. I want to get a double bass drum pedal rather than just a standard pedal that comes with it. And one I was getting has a bigger, it actually, where the bass drum is, it has an actual drum head there that you can use as a trigger for your bass drumming. And so I went from looking at about $400 for a drum set to looking at about $1,000 for a drum set. And so I am going to get it. I'm going to finance it through the place I finance my pool through, but I am going to get it. It is coming. Hopefully I'll be putting up some drum covers during the summer. And I've got a thing I'm going to do, because I know a lot of musicians, they like to watch a video and play along with it. And so I'm going to be putting up some drum covers, just the drum tracks by themselves. So if you're a guitarist and if you want to record, if you're a bassist and you want to record along to it, you can record along to it. And I'm going to be doing some Kiss, and I'm going to be doing other bands as well. Of course, I'm going to be doing Kiss, but I'm going to be doing some other drum tracks as well. So let's see. Milton the Monster, Heim from Voice of Doom. Good to see you. I was just talking to him just as I was getting ready to go live. And he sent me something for a really cool idea for a show, for an episode. And I told him, I said, it sounds good. You got to be in it with me. So he said, sure, he's always down. So we'll be going on that. My boy, Scotty Scott, will be performing at the Rusty Rabbit in Dallas, North Carolina. I'm going to put this up there for you, Scott. Be performing at the Rusty Rabbit with Whiskey Crutch from 7 to 10, April the 3rd. Man, I'm going to have to try to get down and see you. That is going to be right after I get back from the beach. And that's another announcement I was going to make. At the end of this video, I'm not going to be talking about the next 90s video we're going to do because I'm getting ready to take about a 2-week break because I'm going to be going to the beach. I will be there a week from today. We're leaving a week from today, and we'll be there for 5 days. And so by the time I get back and get caught back up on videos and stuff, it's going to be about a 2-week period. But I can tell you that before I leave to go, I will have probably next Wednesday, instead of being, well, it won't be Wednesday because I'll be gone. I'll already be at the beach. So maybe Monday or Tuesday, me and Carla might just feel kind of fly. Maybe Monday. I'm going to see if Carla can do it. I got to check her schedule. But if Carla can do it, then probably what I'll do is we're going to do a track versus track. And since I'm not going to have time to edit it, we're going to do a track versus track live. And that'll be really fun because we usually record those things ahead of time. And I usually make all kinds of mistakes, and Carla keeps me straight, being my executive producer during those things. I joke around with her being, I need to start paying you and let you be my executive producer because she does keep me straight. Rick used to keep me straight. Now Carla keeps me straight. And somebody's got to keep me straight. Scotty knows that better than anything, that I need a handler. That's why I come with instructions, and the instructions got threw away. So I need a handler when it comes to me personally. But so we are going to do the track versus track for Rock and Roll Over versus the debut album. Haim just messaged me a minute ago and before I went on, and he was like, oh man, I hate that I missed it. You've not missed it. Get your list in. If you're seeing this right now and you have, and say you're seeing them within the next couple of days, say by the 26th, by the end of the 26th, get your list in. If you can get your list in by the end of Friday, get it in, because there's a lot of people in on that one, and I'm going to start compiling probably over the weekend. Probably start getting ready for the beach over the weekend, and then hopefully Carla can either join me on Monday or Tuesday night, maybe Sunday night. So just keep an eye on my social media. I'll have to find out when Carla can join me for that. So that'd be really cool. Let's see. Good to see you, Vanderhoff. And of course, Cecil, good to see you. And well, I want to go ahead and talk about, before we get into Alice in Chains, dirt. So this is what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to be doing dirt. I have not put the post up yet. You guys have probably been wondering, where's these posts? So I'm going to go ahead and we will tell what the next track versus track is going to be whenever we do the track versus track live. And I'll go ahead and put the post up for that after that track versus track. So I want to leave me with with a few things to work on whenever I come back from the beach, to have some things in the hopper for you. So right now we're doing Alice in Chains Dirt. The next two videos we will that you can get input in on will be the One for All from Peter Criss. That is going to be coming up. I'm going to go ahead and put that post up tonight. And at the same time, I'm going to put up Docking Under Lock and Key. And that'll be the next 80s. And One for All will be the next Kiss one. And then there will be a post come up for the track versus track, the next track versus track for, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you, most likely, just so you kind of know, unless something changes my mind drastically between now and then, most likely the next Kiss track versus track is going to be the debut album Against Love Gun. because I had a lot of people, they were like, oh man, I really would like to have seen it go up against Love Gun. So I think whenever we see what happens between these two, we'll see what happens between the debut and Love Gun. And then what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to put a poll up that's going to ask you guys what the next track versus track is that you want to see pairing up. I think somebody mentioned they would like to see Psycho Circus go against Sonic Boom. I don't know if that's the same track listing or not, but I am going to kind of look at some of those eras of albums that we didn't get to. There are some albums we didn't get to do in track versus track as far as Kiss goes. So I would like to have every Kiss album at least have gotten paired up against something. So I will go back and look, and I'll look and see if there's an album that I've missed, and if I have, I'll try to pair it up against something, and we'll just go from there. One for All takes courage. Cecil, Cecil said One for All takes courage, and Sublime said can't wait for Under Lock and Key. All for One, no. But we made it through. We made it through Gene Simmons' A-Hole. We made it through Paul Stanley Live to Win, and we'll have to eventually make it through Paul Stanley's Soul Station, because yes, we will be doing a track versus track for Paul Stanley's Soul Station. I've actually already listened to it twice. Thought about doing a review for it, and I figured, well, you know what? I'll just do a track versus track for it, and I'll just do the panel has spoken, and then we'll just talk about it then. I don't have anything Kiss merch related to show off that you guys have maybe not seen. But I do have something cool coming. It is actually in the post office, and I've been wanting to put another one of these back in my collection for a long time. I had it for a long time, and I'm going to put it back in. I'm going to put it back in the collection probably tomorrow, because it's sitting at the post office right now, and our post office don't stay open 24 hours, and we don't have boxes you can get into if you got a big package delivered. And it's not a big package, but I got one of those slips that you got to go to the front desk and pick it up. So I live in a one-horse town with a one-stoplight town and a post office that's only open like these crazy hours. So we'll go from there. All right. So, and I'll show that in the next video. So we're going to talk about Alice in Chains' Dirt. And first, I'm going to talk about the panel. There's 12 of us that was on this one. And then I'm going to talk about what I think about Dirt, where I was when Dirt came out. Feel free to share your experiences with Dirt in the comments, interact with each other. We had 12 people on the panel. Myself from YouTube, Sublime 130, Mix C, Raven FM, James Dean, Joel Pegg from Twitter, Tom Dust, and Vanessa. Instagram, AJ Zetro 1975, MD Smith Comics. From Facebook, Matt Ucci and Scotty Sky. Vanderhoff, that is awesome. Vanderhoff says that they have the original Kiss notebooks. I had them, and those things are expensive now. I saw a post on eBay where somebody had them, and they still had the little form inside of them, and they were in great shape. They almost looked like they'd been in a box. And they were in immaculate shape, and each one of them went for about $75. They had all four of the individuals. They had the one of the solo albums, and they had the one of them standing on the cubes. And I just thought, man, that's amazing. I wish I would have had, $800 or $500 to throw away. I think it was $500 if you added them all up. And, but yeah, I'll have them again sometime. The thing that I got, I've actually bid on it before. I got it off eBay. I won it on an auction, and I've actually been in other bid wars on it and would have paid more money. And this one, I just happened to find it. It was late one night, and it was going for like $70. And I was like, that's a good deal for that. So I bid 80 on it just to, you know, see if somebody had bid more than that. Because I was willing to go up to 100 because I'd gone more than 100 before and nobody had bid on it. And so I sat there and watched. And I had my finger on the trigger, man. I had $100 in there and I had my finger on the button to hit $100 and nobody else bid on it. So I got the thing that I got that I'll show off in. I'll show it off in the track versus track. I got it for $70. All right. Vanderhoff says got him in 87, and the one Peter's holding the cats in chains. That's so iconic. And I have the cube one too. I shrink wrapped them back to 1987. That is awesome. That's awesome that you did that. All right, so we're going to talk about Alice in Chains Dirt. I remember when Dirt came out. Me and Scotty were talking about this the other day. Alice in Chains facelift. Man, I remember the first time I heard Man in the Box. And I went and bought Facelift. And at the time, I had this little Geo Metro. And me and my friend Chris and Scott and my other friend Josh and Chris's girlfriend Wendy, we used to ride around in that car, just partying, drunk. And we used to sing every song off of Alice in Chains Facelift. It's the first album. And we used to sing harmonies to Sunshine and just so many good memories to that album and that band. And then a few years later, Dirt came out. They put out Sap in between Dirt and the first album. And Dirt came out, and Dirt is where Alice in Chains really kind of solidified their sound. I mean, they definitely set it in the first album, but they matured a lot in the second album. And plus they had a whole lot more money. So it was a lot bigger production and they were just so amazing. I was around that time too, Vanderhoff. I was maybe a little younger. I don't know how old you are. You don't have to say your age if you don't want to, but, I was probably around 21. I was old enough to drink. So I was either 21 or 22. So I'm maybe a couple years younger than you. I'm 51 now. But Dirt just had such a sound to it. And it has a sound and the subject matter is real. It's real. And, Lane was battling with addiction and Jerry was just becoming this amazing writer, this amazing guitarist and this amazing writer. And I'm still a big fan of Alice in Chains and Jerry Cantrell to this day. And I just remember when this album came out, I was blew away. And I actually like a lot of the songs that aren't really hits off this album. I like the hits, but I like a lot of the deep tracks off this album as well. And so we'll get into what tracks I like and where I like them as opposed to where you guys like them as we start talking about it. So it's 20 after. So let's go ahead and start talking about it. We got 13 tracks and there is a 12 track. There's a 13th track that's called Iron Gland. It's untitled on some things and it's called Iron Gland on some things. And so I forgot about it actually. And I had some people, they put it on their list and some people didn't. So if they omitted it, I just put it in as their last choice. But Iron Gland is the song that I predicted to come in at number 13 because it's just this little thing that they did on. It surprised me that they did it on this album because it's something that they did more often on their EPs on Jar of Flies and on Sap. And it surprised me that they had a song like Iron Gland, but I just love it because they come in. It's like, I am iron. It sounds like he's going to say man. And all of a sudden he's like, Gland. And it's just one of those things that they did in the studio, just goofing off. But I predicted that was going to be number 13. And I was right. You guys chose Iron Gland with only 13 votes. It's definitely the lowest picked song on the album. It's not technically a song. Iron Gland is 13. Iron Gland's 13 for me. I think it's funny and it's kind of cool, but it's not technically a song, so it's my last pick. I don't skip it because it goes into a really great song. It goes into Hate to Feel, which I love. So that brings us up to track number 12. Track number 12, I predicted you guys would pick Godsmack for number 12. And basically just because it's kind of a weird song, it's got that Lane was shaking his voice box. He's like, cannot fall. He was doing that, and it's really weird that he was doing that. But I love the chorus of Godsmack. I like how it speeds up into that, speeds up into that real shuffling kind of rhythm. And Sean Kinney is just an amazing drummer. I learned a lot from him. I copied a lot of his techniques off of these albums. And he plays his drums like you play an instrument. He uses his drums as an instrument. He's real active on his toms. You have a lot of drummers, they only really get on their toms to do a fill. But Sean is all over his toms whenever he's playing something. He'll finish he's one of the few people's, the very first time I ever heard somebody, they'll do a roll and then he'll finish on two cymbals. He does that in wood. He goes, he hits the cymbals almost like they're an instrument that he would use to roll on, to do a drum fill on. Instead of just using it as accent, he uses it a lot. He uses a crash cymbal a lot, and he uses a China cymbal a lot, which I'm really, really fond of. But I predicted you guys was going to pick Godsmack for number 12. With 52 points, what you chose for number 12 is Sick Man. And Sick Man is another one of those songs. You'll find out in my prediction in just a little bit. I didn't predict you guys to pick this one too well. But Sick Man is just another one of those weird songs. It starts off on the drums and just starts off really cool. But they do so many time changes and Sick Man is one that they do a lot of time change on. When he goes into the chorus, when he goes into that, I can feel the will, but I can't steer. It goes into that like 6/6 kind of swaying, almost kind of like a waltz type thing. And I love shit like that. That's one of the things I love about Alice in Chains is that time change and those crazy tunings that they do. And just that pentatonic sound that they have and that layers and layers and layers of guitars that Jerry Cantrell, that wall of guitars that Jerry Cantrell builds. To me, they're just as good as a musician's band as like Dream Theater. They may not be as technical and in your face, we're doing all this stuff and we're playing all these notes, but they are a very complicated technical band. At least, they were, they still are. But just the things that they was doing back then, people wasn't doing in songs like this. That's one of the big things that grunge in Seattle brought about is they kind of threw the rule book out the window when it came to, they had songs that didn't have solos. Of course, most of Alice in Chains songs had solos because Jerry Cantrell was a phenomenal guitarist. But you had songs that didn't have solos. You have songs that they weren't conventional verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, outro, They broke the mold a lot when it came to, a lot of bands wasn't doing weird time changes or weird tunings and things like that. Weird recording techniques and vocal techniques like shaking your throat whenever you're singing. They didn't do things like that until bands like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden and Pearl Jam and bands like that came along. And I think Alice in Chains and Soundgarden was a little more instrumental. They were a little more experimental on some of those things. So you guys chose Sick Man for number 12. Sick Man to me is it's kind of down there towards the bottom. But I'm going to go ahead and say that I don't dislike any song on this album. This album to me is perfect. There's nothing I would add to it. There's nothing I would take away from it. So for me, that makes a perfect album. And is all the songs great? No. Are some songs better than others? Yes. But Sick Man is one of those great songs. Everything I just said about it, why I said about it is why I love Sick Man. So you guys picked it 12 for you, and I picked it 12 for me. So we picked it the same. All right. So that brings us to number 11. Rooster is what I predicted you guys was going to choose for number 11. Believe it or not, I predicted Rooster down that low. And let me tell you why. I predicted Rooster down that low because of fatigue. Because everybody's heard Rooster. Everybody knows Rooster by this time. If any Alice in Chains song is known, it's Rooster. Is probably their most known song, most commercially wide known song. And this was a very commercially successful album for them, by the way. I looked this stat up, and they actually received an award from Columbia Records. This album, at the time that Alice in Chains got their award, and I don't know when they got it, but worldwide, Dirt had sold 22 million copies. Worldwide, one album sold 22 million copies. That's crazy. That's crazy to even think of. Some bands don't sell. Kiss has not. I love Kiss, but Kiss has not had any album that has sold 22 million copies. So, and I love Kiss. Don't get me wrong. Don't start throwing rocks at me. But this was just a huge commercially successful album. Good to see you, Space Ace Ron. Good to see you checking in. Let's see. So I predicted for number 11, you guys were going to choose Rooster. With 54 points, what you actually chose was Junkhead. And Junkhead, Godsmack, and Sick Man are those three kinds of songs on this album that are all weird. They're very weird. They're very experimental. And they're very heavily written by Lane. And very heavily influenced by Lane and what he was going through at the time and his addictions he was going through at the time. So you guys picked Junkhead at 54 for number 11. I love Junkhead. I love that, the way it just starts off with that junk, fuck, and then that hi-hat, that just counts it off. And the verses are okay and cool. But the chorus on this, I love that when it goes into this kind of brightness and he's like, what's my drug of choice? And just the harmonies there between Lane and Jerry are just amazing. And a lot of people don't realize that there are two singers in this band, Lane Staley and Jerry Cantrell. I've had some people, I saw something the other day. It was isolated vocals for Lane Staley for Wood. If you've never seen it, look it up. It's just Google Wood isolated vocals. And this person was like, oh man, Lane was so talented. He could sing so soft, and then he could sing so soft in the verses, and then he could blast so hard and controlled in the choruses. And somebody, before I even got the chance to get on my keyboard, somebody's like, dude, that is Jerry Cantrell singing the verses. And Lane comes in and sings the choruses. So they exchanged so much, like Gene and Paul did, but even more than Gene and Paul did. They shared so many lyrical exchanges in the songs. But Junkhead is number 11 for you guys. Junkhead is number 11 for me as well. So I'm right with you. We're right there together so far. We've picked every track the same so far, you and I. So let's see what happens going into number 10. I predicted one of the hits, I predicted Dirt, the title track, and a song that a lot of people know. I predicted Dirt for being number 10. At number 10, you guys with 56 points, these are kind of knit together, tight together. For number 10, you guys picked Godsmack. And Godsmack is it's one of the songs we talked about just a little bit ago. I was talking about earlier. Godsmack is just one of those weird songs, and so it's didn't get picked very high. Now this is where we go different. You guys picked Godsmack for number 10. Me, I picked Godsmack for number 8. And it's funny because this is another thing that Seattle and grunge. I don't like calling Alice in Chains grunge because Alice in Chains to me was fucking metal. They just happened to come out of Seattle at the time that everybody else was coming around, and they got called grunge. And to me, Alice in Chains is a metal band. They're not a heavy metal band like Motley Crue, but they're a metal band. They're heavy. But one of the things that they did that a lot of Seattle bands did during that time is sometimes they would just have the name of the song would be one word, like would. If I could, would you? That's the only time he says it. Godsmack, at the very end of the song, he says, and God's name is smack for some. He don't even say Godsmack together. He says, God's name is smack for some. So they call it Godsmack, which is also the name of a really cool band that came out about this time. Well, they came out in 2000s. Yeah, Godsmack came out in 2000s. I'm dating them a little bit there. That was wrong. In my opinion, there you go. I agree with that. In my opinion, Alice in Chains was the Black Sabbath of the 90s. That could be that. That's a very astute observation there, Mr. Ronnie Parker. I have to say that I agree. All right, so that let's see, number 10. You guys chose Godsmack for number 10. I chose Godsmack. And you can pop in. I see my boy Scotty Sky saying what they are for him. Godsmack was number 8 for me. You guys are welcome to say if you did a panel, if you did an entry, you can say what it is for you. Brings us number 9. I predicted you guys were going to choose Sick Man for number 9. I was wrong because you've already picked it. What you actually chose at number 9 is another song that I can see being chose kind of low. You guys picked it at 61 points. At number 9, that is Hate to Feel. And Hate to Feel is it's one of those songs, like I said, it might have got picked a little lower for me, but it's not because I don't like the song. It's just, damn, there's so many good songs on this album. I was having a hard time picking songs in a particular order. Outside the top 5 or 6, I just was throwing them in an order because I love all these songs. Hate to Feel is one of those songs that I really love as well. I picked it as number 10 for me, Hate to Feel, but you guys picked Hate to Feel as number 9 for you. So we're kind of right there together. All right, so that brings us to number 8. I predicted you guys was going to choose Junkhead for number 8, and you didn't. You chose it lower. What you chose for number 8 with 66 points is the title track, Dirt. Dirt, number 6 for the panel. Dirt, number 6 for me also. Dirt is one of those songs. It is the title track, and it sums up the way this album sounds and what this album is about. This album as a whole has a sound to it, and Dirt is what encompasses that sound and that very Egyptian sound at the very beginning, and Lane singing in that very monotone, I have never felt such frustration. I mean, it's just so cool. But yeah, Dirt is really good. And some of the words like, I want you to scrape me from the walls, and something, and feel dirty like you made me, or taste dirty like you made me. And it's got some of their words is just very, you just didn't hear words like this up to this point. Scotty says Dirk's 12 for him. All right. So that brings us up to number 7. So, yeah, well, you guys chose Dirk for number 8. I chose Dirk for me as number 6. I didn't say where I chose Dirk. Dirk for me is number 6. So that brings us to number 7. I predicted, okay, you start getting into the top 5 or 6. You start getting into the hits. So I predicted that you guys was going to choose Down in a Hole for number 7. What you actually chose for number 7 is a great track. I love this song. And apparently 89, with 89 points, you guys like it too, because we jumped from 66 to 89. Rain When I Die, number 7. You guys chose Rain When I Die, number 7. I chose, for me, Rain When I Die, number 7. It's just a great song. It's just such a great song. And the chorus is just so amazing. And the timing on this song is so crazy. It's just got this 7 count time. It's weird. It's just a weird time. They would have riffs. It's like it would play, and then like you were getting halfway through another riff and it'd stop and then it'd start over. And that's how a lot of their stuff did. It's like the riff didn't complete itself, but they stopped and started over again. And the whole song's kind of like that. It's got a really weird offbeat on the drums and really weird timing. The guitars in it, of course, is excellent. So Rain When I Die, you guys chose it number 7. I chose it number 7. It's really cool seeing how in tune we are. And my boy Scotty Sky, I love Rain When I Die. It's number 2 for me. I love it too, man. It's just there's 6 songs I like better. At least when I made my list. It could change because this album's so good. I love this album. That brings us to number 6. My prediction for that you guys was going to choose for number 6 is Them Bones, the opening track that basically says, hey, like Carla says, this is what this album's going to be. And Them Bones really just kicks it off. That chromatic scale, that just that really, and that's in a weird time too. So just starts off with Lane screaming at you that it's just awesome. I love it. So you guys, so I predicted you guys were going to do Rain When I Die. I got lost there for a second. I've lost myself. I've lost myself. See, we already did Down in the Hole. No, Rain When I Die, number 7. So that's where you guys chose Rain When I Die at number 7. I choose Rain When I Die for me at number 7 also. So I don't know if I just repeated myself, but you guys chose Rain When I Die at number 7. I chose Rain When I Die at number 7. So number 6. So we're up to 6. Them Bones is what you chose, or what I predicted for number 6. What you actually picked for number 6 with 98 points is Rooster. Rooster, 98 points. Rooster for me is number 1. Number 1 for me. Rooster on this song, Rooster on this album is, Rooster's it's just amazing. And I know it's a lot of people are fatigued off of it, but Rooster to me is it's just so great. And we've all heard it. We've all heard, here they come to snuff the rooster. We've all heard it. So it's a great song. You guys picked it at number 6 with 98 points. I picked it at number 1 for me. So that brings us into the top 5. So number 5, I predicted you guys was going to choose Would. W-O-U-L-D. Would, question mark. It should be like Would. So number 5, that's what I predicted. With 101 points, getting into the hundreds, 101 points for number 5. You guys chose Down in a Hole as your number 5 song. Down in a Hole for me is number 3. I love Down in a Hole. It's one of those songs that they're so well known for. And I just love the way how it starts off soft. And it kind of stays soft the whole time, even when it goes into the chorus. The Down in a Hole and I Don't Know If I Can Be Saved. It stays soft. My favorite part of this song is like at the end of the chorus when they go, I'd like to fly. That's just so awesome. But my wings have been so denied. Those are great words, great words. So Down in a Hole is number 5 for you guys. It is number 3 for me. Okay. Number 4, I predicted you guys were going to choose Rain When I Die. And what you chose at number 4 with 111 points, Angry Chair. Angry Chair is just so freaking sweet. You guys chose Angry Chair at number 4. For me, I chose Angry Chair at number 9. And I know you say, God, you just said it's freaking sweet, but you chose it at number 9. I know that's how difficult this was for me. But Angry Chair, this is one of those songs that starts off with the drums and Sean Kinney doing that unusual I mean, that little weird beat. And then Jerry coming in with that very simple riff that I even learned how to play the guitar on one time, that turn, and then bends up. Just huge. And then that big, huge wall of guitars come in. And it's just so great. Angry Chair just kind of takes you on a journey. It's just back and forward between between the verse and the chorus and the pre-chorus, and it's just so great. So, so you guys chose Angry Chair at number 4 with 111. I chose Angry Chair at number 9 for me. Even sounds good acoustic. They did it acoustically on Unplugged, and it even sounded good then. So that brings us up to number 3. I predicted you guys were going to choose Hate to Feel at number 3. I just thought you guys would like Hate to Feel better. So I predicted it up at number 3. What you guys actually chose at number 3, you guys chose with 119 points, Them Bones. Them Bones, number 3. And I chose Them Bones for me at number 6. Them Bones is my top 6 or 7. They could just all might as well be number 1s because Them Bones to me is just so great. I say that so much. I've said that about every song, but it's just a great song. So Them Bones, you guys chose it at number 3. I chose Them Bones for me, number 6. All right. So that brings us to the top 2. If you're playing along and you know this album, you know there's only 2 songs left. So I predicted that you guys were going to choose at number 2. I predicted you guys were going to choose Angry Chair. And what you guys chose at number 2 with 131 points is Damn That River. And Damn That River is just awesome. The way it just kind of just starts and it just punches you in the face as soon as it starts. And Damn That River is it's just great. It's like I said, I'm a parrot and I'm just repeating myself. It's just amazing. So you guys picked Damn That River at number 2, and I picked Damn That River for me at number 5. Like I said, it might as well be number 1. All right, so that brings us to the number 1, and I predicted that you guys were going to choose Rooster as your. I predicted you guys were going to choose Rooster at your number 1 song, and what you actually chose with 138 points, you guys chose Wood as your number one song. And I chose Wood as my number my number 5 for me. And like I said, Wood is a great song. I've already kind of talked about it, but Wood is just a great song. And Scotty said my favorite track. Were you talking about Damn That River, or are you talking about Wood, Scott? I didn't know. So to recap what you guys chose, for number 13, you chose Iron Gland. Number 12, you chose Sick Man. Number 11, Junkhead. Number 10, Godsmack. Number 9, Hate to Feel. Number 8, Dirt. Number 7, Rain When I Die. Number 6, Rooster. Number 5, Down in a Hole. Number 4, Angry Chair. Number 3, Them Bones. Number 2, Damn That River. And number 1, Wood. That is your winner for Track versus Track. So to recap what I was talking about earlier, for those of you who may not have been here earlier, I'm going to go ahead and put my social media up here for you. So if you don't follow me on social media, you can follow me on my webpage. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Patreon, the next 2 things that we're going to be doing is you got until the end of Friday. I know it probably says the deadline's passed, but I'm telling you right now, you've got until the end of Friday, the 26th, to get in your votes for Track versus Track for Kiss debut album versus Rock and Roll Over. The next Track versus Track for that'll be announced. I'm going to go ahead and let you know. It's probably going to be Kiss versus the debut album versus Love Gun. Now, I just see that's the best thing to do next, because I know a lot of people really wanted that head-to-head between those 2 albums. The next Kiss track versus next Kiss, The Panel Has Spoken, we'll be doing, as far as Kiss solo album goes, is going to be One for All from Peter Criss. So if you dare, get in on that one. And the next 80s that we're going to be doing, the next panel the Panel Spoken video we're going to be doing is going to be Dokken. The Dokken and Peter Criss posts will be going up this evening. I'll do them right after I get done with this live cast. And then, like I said, be looking. I'm going to try to get in touch with Carla and figure out when she can do it. The Track versus Track results video between Kiss and Rock and Roll Over will probably be live, because as of a week from today, I'm going to be taking you won't see a video from me for about 2 weeks, because it'll take me 2 weeks at the most. It'll take me because I'm going to be gone almost a week. And then when I get back, it'll take me some time to get caught up on compiling votes and things like that, because that takes time to do that kind of stuff. So that's basically all I've got for this one. Unless anybody has any questions, it's 10 till, and we're inside of our hour. My wife's got fried chicken cooking in the kitchen for a late dinner, and I don't have anything else unless you guys have something. Am I familiar with any of the? Okay, let me pull this up. Am I familiar with any of the first 4 Riot records? No, I'm not. Is Riot who turned into Dokken? The name sounds familiar, Cecil, but I am not familiar. I'm not familiar with that. Ronnie, did I do any of the early Vinnie Vincent albums? I've done both of them. I did the Vinnie Vincent Invasion, and we did Vinnie Vincent All Systems Go. We've done both of them. They're back in. If you go into the videos, if you go to my YouTube page and you go to the videos tab, there is videos, and then there's a live tab. And if it was done live, you got to go to that live tab to find it. They, for whatever reason, does not mix. They do not mix pre-recorded and live videos together. It was Mark Realis's band. No, I've not ever heard those. I have to check out the first 4 Riot records. I believe you believe I love them. The Euphoria album from Vinny. No, I've not done the Euphoria album. I've only done the first 2. I've not done Euphoria. These Nuts, thoughts on Soul Station record. Well, I don't want to say too much because I do plan on reviewing it. But I will say this. I listened to it twice. I actually enjoyed some of the original material better than the stuff that he did cover-wise. I mean, it's a non-Kiss solo album. I mean, even though he's got this backing band, at least the band's getting credit. But yeah, jury's still out on it. I've only listened to it twice, and I'm trying to listen to it with an open ear. So by the time I get ready to do my either panel spoken on it or a track versus track, by the time I do a panel spoken or a review on it, I'll have a better understanding of what I want to do. These names that Restless Breed, these names I guess you're talking about albums or talking about bands. I don't know. I'm not familiar with Riot or at all, so I'll have to look it up and see. But yeah, that's all I've got. That's all. And if everybody's cool with it, we'll go ahead and shut this down. And I appreciate each one of you watching. Be sure to like, subscribe if you're catching this on the replay and you've never seen me before. You can check me out at any of this social media right here. And check me out on my YouTube, watch my videos. And Restless Breed's a Riot album. Okay. All right. I'll have to look. Maybe when I'm at work listening to music, maybe I can pop it on and see if it catches my ear. I do that a lot. If somebody tells me check a band out, what I'll do is I'll put it on and then I'll just work. And I'll see. Sometimes if it just stays in the background and never really comes out and catches me, I'm like, well, I don't know if I like this too much. And if there's something on it that catches my attention, I'll check it out and I'll see what I think about it. So I'll let you guys know. Be sure to bring it up in one of the next live videos, maybe after my break. Maybe I can listen to it while I'm on vacation. But yeah, I'm going off for a week for a well-deserved vacation, time with family, and just to get away, go to the beach, and before it gets too hot, spend some time away for a little bit. All right, guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks.